go. All right, guys. So I'm here with Maggie again. We have a pole fitness seminar, actually 2 of them coming up, and she's going to teach some privates on November 13th and 14th. Is that right? I think.
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay. So for people that never attended before, I think this might be useful, right? Like, what can they expect if they're going to this, or they're thinking about signing up for this here in just, I guess, basically a month, right?
Yeah, almost exactly a month. So the first workshop that I'm going to teach on Friday the 13th. Oh, I just put that together. Friday the 13th.
Or some costumes or something like that, or
Yeah, bring your bad.
Come and kill people.
So it's going to be intro to pole, which is a very basic class. So if you've never done pole before, this is an excellent class for you. We're going to learn a short choreography, which will involve like 1 or 2 moves on the pole, and then the rest of it will be transitioning down to the floor. So we have a fair amount of students in these classes and only a few poles. So I'll be breaking you guys into little sections so that you'll have time to work on each piece before putting the whole thing into a choreography. And then at the end, I will give you guys a little demo of what I do. And we've always had a lot of fun in these. So
one of the things I see the question about a bunch, and you can address now, because I already know the answer, but it might be good coming from you. But every time I read the comments, like, people tag somebody, say, hey, let's do this. And then normally the person comments back and says, I will just fall on my
head. You're right. That is like almost like clockwork.
Yeah.
First of all, you won't fall on your head because you're not going to go upside down. I'm going to teach you the most basic pole move in my entire beginner curriculum. It involves 2 legs and 2 hands on the pole. So you are about as attached to that thing as you can be. And also, I have taught this particular workshop in Charleston 4 times now. And there has only been 1 participant in all 4 of those workshops that has been unable to do that move, and it was because of an injury. So it doesn't matter what shape you are, what size you are, what weight you are, what ability you are. I've been teaching this craft for about 6 years, so you can trust me that I'm the professional on this to tell you that you will not fall on your head.
Don't need to worry about that one. I mean, no. It really is every single time that we post that somebody says that. I don't address that because who am I to say you're not going to fall on your head? But I was like,
I mean, anything could happen. I get it a lot too, though. But I think that's all fear-based. And, pole's a little scary. It's a little intimidating if you've never done it. But everybody that tries it that's afraid immediately, like, their fears wash away and they just have a great time. So,
So, and I've noticed, so now the second one, so that one would be 5:30 to 7:30, right? The first one.
Yep.
And the second one would be 8 to 10, right?
Yes.
I'm better. I'm doing pretty good. I was going to give myself a compliment.
Yeah, no, you got that right. Well done.
So the second one, it's slightly more advanced, right? So
in
theory, though. Yeah, because I think even before I say that, I know that in it is a little bit, but a lot of times what happens is that maybe only a handful from that actually went to the first one go to the second one. So a lot of times we end up letting some people into the second one that are beginners, and you split them up, right? Like, you kind of just take care of it that way. If that happens.
I think if you've never done it, you can still do the second one. We're still not going upside down. The only thing that's different is we're using a slightly different point of contact on the pole that's going to be a little more challenging, but your head is still going to be upright. And there are modifications that I can make for that too, to make it easier or harder, depending on what kind of challenge the student needs. So if you can't fit into the first one and you've never done pole, it's okay. It's just going to be a teeny tiny little bit more challenging.
Yeah, now this is 2 hours. How tired will somebody get after 2 hours?
Pretty tired. Probably not as tired as me.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'll be breaking you guys up into stations. So, like, if you're in one of my normal classes or in one of my private lessons, I'm going to keep you moving for the entire class. However, if you feel the need to take breaks or something, like my attention is gonna kind of be divided throughout the room. So a lot of the times people will, learn what they gotta learn. They'll take a break. I'll come check on them, answer any questions. You're gonna get a decent workout, but there's definitely time for breaks if they're needed.
Okay, and then let's cover a couple of things too, since this is kind of like a pre-thing before everybody comes to the class. So I know a lot of the times in the event, and it's been so long now because I just copy and paste your original comments, but what should they wear? I know there was something about don't wear lotion, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is a good, and that actually is another quick, because a lot of people say like, I don't know. I think last time I had a question or two from people say, I don't really feel comfortable wearing shorts. I like to wear longer pants. And I said, hey, this is what I know is that maybe you won't stick to the pole as good. I'm not the one to answer because I don't get on the pole, but that's what I do, right? So let's go through a little bit.
So the more advanced stuff requires booty shorts because we use our skin to grip to the pole. So if your legs are not exposed, you're going to have a lot harder time staying up off the ground, and you're going to have to rely a lot more on your upper body strength. However, for what we're learning in at least these 2 workshops, all you need is from the knee down exposed. So if you're nervous about wearing shorts, you might wear shorts under a pair of yoga pants or sweatpants. And then I promise as the class progresses, you'll become less nervous. But, if you are dead set on wearing pants, you can always just pull them up over your knees.
Yeah.
And I get that a lot of people, it's a totally nerve-wracking thing, but it has been really fun for me as an instructor to watch the progression of the pants. So we'll come in first class in pants, and like the next week they'll be capris, and then they're shorts at the knees, and then all of a sudden they look like me with half their butt cheeks hanging out because, that's what you got to do to succeed. Other than that, I would wear a sports bra and a t-shirt or tank top. And definitely no lotion because it will make it impossible for you to hold on to the pole. You're going to get really frustrated, and your classmates will get very frustrated too because there is oil on the pole. So come with dry skin.
Yeah, that's kind of messed up, huh?
Yeah, but a common misconception that people don't even think about. And bring
what? I'm sorry.
A mask.
Mask, yes. Well, yeah, that segues into 2 things I want to say. So one, how's this one going to be different than the other one now that we're dealing with COVID? That might actually help people a little bit that are maybe nervous about signing up or maybe thinking that it might get canceled or just whatever. So you're obviously teaching Clarksburg right now. Everything's going really good. You guys are following precautions. So what can they expect there?
So I live with an immunocompromised person, so I am definitely very pro mask, and I am going to ask that the participants bring a mask. If I can teach like 10 to 15 fitness classes a week in a mask, then you can spend 2 hours. Luckily, the room that we're in is pretty big, so I don't think that we should have too much of a problem spacing out. If somebody is super duper nervous, we can always put you off on your own side of the room all by yourself. I don't know if there's windows to crack or anything, but I think with masks, we should be fine. That's how I've been teaching my normal classes.
Yeah, and one of the things that we've been trying to do, especially since inside is kind of part of the rules, is not really having the air circulate as much, right? Because that's one of the things, as the air circulates, potentially we're breathing in stuff like that. So it's going to depend on how cold it is on November 13th or 14th, but I think we'll be fine either way because we can always hook up space heaters. But the reason I mention is that we have a bunch of windows to open and keep that air circulating from the outside. And
excellent.
Yeah.
Are you guys doing temperature checks or anything?
We are. So we've got the infrared thermometers and all that stuff, and we're good to go. So we'll come together.
We can do, what we've been doing with our normal classes.
Okay.
And do well as long as we're not coughing on each other.
Yeah, no, that sounds perfect. Now, and I think really, quite honestly, all gyms for us, most gyms opened on May 18th, right? Like fitness facilities and everything. We've had very little issues we had 0 issues. But if I say very little, that actually implies that we've had at least a couple, but there's been 0 issues. Because as long as you're following the guidelines and doing what you can, and you're not having somebody come in, exposing somebody, knowing that they're sick, I'm not gonna say there's nothing to worry about, but as long as you're following precautions, you're a lot safer than you would, right?
That's how I feel too. We've been open since August and we've had no problems thus far. We're sanitizing in between every class and screening clients when they come in, and everybody's cool about the mask thing. So,
Yeah.
we'll do what we have to do till we don't have to do it anymore.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting pictures. I'm just thinking, and it's odd to look sexy with a mask on, huh? I would think.
You can make it work.
You can.
You can match the mask to your outfit. Have a theme going on.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely different. I mean, because we kind of joke about it. It's an odd time where you actually look at people and say, "Man, your mask is cool," or whatever. I'm saying it's kind of different. Isn't it?
One very strange thing for me is I've gotten a lot of new clients in the last couple months, and I only know what like the top half of their face looks like.
Yeah, very strange.
Like girls I'm seeing every week now.
Yeah, it's good and bad. It's weird. At the beginning, I felt awkward wearing a mask. I think because not even 50% of people are doing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Depending on where you are, that's the numbers still maybe 50% or less, right? But I think now it's just become so normal. I actually prefer it. I think if you're slightly introverted like me, I don't care. I'm covered up now. Don't bother me, right?
That's how I feel too. And sometimes when I'm teaching or practicing pole and I'm working on something hard, the concentration face gets real. So it's nice. It's nice to be able to cover that up a little bit.
Yeah, that's very true. I forgot about that. So one other thing I want to ask, not just one other thing, but we talk about this a lot now. Is this also, can guys go to this? It's primarily women, of course, but
yeah, totally.
One of them, but
we had one male participant in the last time that I came down, and he did great. Yeah. There is going to be some sexy stuff, so as long as you are fully willing to participate and you don't have ulterior motives, I am 100% down to teach people of any gender.
Yeah, no, that's a great point, because first of all, this we talked about this slightly before. We don't have to get into it, but in a weird way, for other people, this is a slightly empowering thing, right? Because we talked about this last time, is that a lot of times when it sells out, I have a lot of women write and they'll beg to get in because it's sold out, and they say, "Listen, this means a lot to me. It makes me feel better about myself," and just kind of give me the story. It's like hoping that I can get them in. And
yeah,
it's awesome, right, to hear all that. So that being said, I don't want to ruin that by letting creepy guys in, because that ruins all of that positivity and power, right?
True.
Yeah. So there's no way to know until they.
So, true. I mean, like I said, I've been doing this for a number of years, and I have had a few male students. I've never had the ulterior motive guys come in. I get a lot of Facebook comments like, "Oh, can I come watch?" But like, I think it's harmless humor. It's still kind of irritating to me, but I've never had anybody act on it. That said, if somebody were to act on it, I have no problem being a loudmouth, and it's going to be in a jiu-jitsu gym, so I have a feeling there might be a few people in the building that would be willing to help me remove them from the premises if there were a problem.
Yeah, well, and I think it's just important to address that, because that's immediately somebody's question. So I just want to get that out of the way, and then the next, typically, like I said, in all these classes, one guy showed up and he was awesome, right? He had a great time. Everybody actually loved having him there.
Yeah, he was a great addition.
You're willing to embrace it and do exactly what the women are doing, they're gonna love you, right? But if you go in there and stand in the corner,
right, if you stand in the corner, you gotta go. But like I said, I've never had anybody actually brave enough to act upon that. So that's
well, it's just they think that's the first time you're hearing that joke, so it's probably getting old, right?
Yeah. It got old a long time ago, yeah.
I can imagine. Yeah, no, I mean, we talked about this last time too. I mean, I own the gym in that room, and I don't even go in there, because I would be the creepy guy in the corner, because I wouldn't be taking the class, so I don't.
Right. However, if you were to participate, I would treat you just like any other student.
Yeah, I'm lazy, so.
Fair enough. We've all got it.
So this what it is. So also, so you got some new T-shirts. Are you gonna bring those down by that time, you think?
Sure am. Yep, I got a fresh stock, so I'll be coming with merch and everything, so you can get a little souvenir from your pole class.
All right, perfect. Well,
yeah.
That's good, man. I think, and then the other thing that we didn't mention, we kind of probably glossed upon, but you're going to teach private lessons the next day, right? Saturday?
Yes. Sorry, that's my husband trying to call me.
That's okay.
Yeah, so Saturday I'd like to stick around and teach some private lessons. So essentially this is an hour dedicated to you and whatever you want to work on. I can accommodate 1 to 4 students per hour, but that's not to say that I'll, like, if you book an hour with me, I'll be putting random people in. But like if there's a group of maybe like 2 or 3 women that want to come together, you guys are welcome to do that if you want like a more intimate setting. So I know that there's a lot of home taught polars in Charleston, which I think is awesome because I was home taught too many, many years ago. But I also know that it's really nice when you have specific goals to be able to work with a coach, maybe have a spotter, get some advice, or get some exercises to train towards specific moves. So that would be an excellent candidate for a private lesson. I also know there's a lot of exotic dancers down there. So if you're looking to maybe expand your repertoire for tricks to do on stage, floor work, twerking, any of that kind of stuff would also be a great thing for a private. Or just if you're interested but you're nervous, maybe you are that person that is uncomfortable wearing shorts or uncomfortable being vulnerable with a group. That's also another excellent reason to book a private. So I've got a couple hours open on the Saturday, the day after.
So, and we're not looking at much of a price difference, right, from taking the class to a private either, right? Like, I mean, it is an uplift, but so
yeah,
$60 compared to 40, is that correct?
Yes, 40 for the group class and 60 for the private lesson.
When I'm not drinking, I am a hell of a lot smarter. I can remember all these.
It turns out.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Well,
So what are and that's for individual. Now, if there's a group of 2, 3, or 4, what would the price be then for that small group if they're doing a private lesson?
oh boy, I would be for you and I to discuss.
Okay. And the only reason I
I
ask,
that it would stay the same.
yeah.
But if that's something that you want to talk about, we can. I would not be opposed to working out a deal for that.
Okay. No, and the reason I ask, sometimes when I do jiu-jitsu, for example, it's a little bit harder in jiu-jitsu to do like, it might be similar, but it's whenever I'm teaching in private, it's me and the other person. So I have to actually do the moves with the person, which is okay, but sometimes it's hard because in jiu-jitsu, like, sounds weird, but I'm on top of the person or they're on top of me, and I can't really tell what's going on. So I'm always like, I actually give them a discount if they bring somebody else, because I'm like say instead of, if it's $75 a person, instead of being 150, I'll say, hey, it's just 90, because then it kind of helps me, like they've got that person or whatever. And then
I mean, that's what I do too with my private lessons up here in Clarksburg. Like the more folks that you bring to the lesson, the cheaper it is per person. But we're still getting paid a little extra for coming in on an off hour. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So let's put it this way. If that's an option, if somebody had a group of couple and there's still a time slot, then just message you or myself. Even if you message me, it's going to go to you anyway, but that way you can kind of figure it out. And because that might be another thing. I know a lot of times people are their friends and maybe they just want to do it by themselves or something, right? I'm just guessing.
Totally. Yeah. And I have some ideas about that. So I will talk to you after this, and we can always put a little note at the bottom of this. I lost my train of thought. Yeah, if you do want to book a private lesson, it would be best for you to message Butch and check the availability, because we've only got a couple hours open for that. And we don't want anybody to double book, so we don't have to cancel on somebody. Yeah. So definitely check the availability before you book.
And those, I would say, to get on ASAP. Not all the classes sell out; they have every time, but the availability for the private lessons is a lot less. I think you're only doing 3
or 4, just because my body. I tell you what, after I teach those group workshops and I drive home, I sleep so well.
As long as you don't sleep while you're driving, that's very important, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I'll be staying in Charleston this time.
Well, good. So well, it sounds like everything's said. Is there anything else that you can think of that we should mention that people should get prepared for, get excited for, anything?
Well, you should definitely get excited because it's always a great time. Please don't come drunk. Had one of those last time. Sounds enticing, but really just makes it frustrating and more difficult for you. But you don't need to be drunk because we have a blast and everybody gets along and there's a lot of laughing and there's a lot of cheering and clapping. This is a safe space for you to come and do your thing and try something new. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me.
Yeah, and what I'll do too, and then I'll make sure that we have all of our stuff in the description area for anybody to write, comment, do whatever they need to do. Reach out. We still have a month to go. I'll try to get this posted up right away. But anyway, I will have all the flyers attached to this too. I'll add them into this so everybody knows what to do. And in a month from now, everybody will be kicking butt and spin around in circles, I think, right?
Sounds great.
All right. Well, you have a good afternoon. So you get back to your husband since he's calling you. Sounds good. All right. Thank you. I look forward to seeing you soon.
All right. Thanks, Butch. I'll see you in a month.
All right. See you, man.
Bye.